Welcome back, trainers, and in this video, by request, I am going to be taking a look at Pokemon that you do not need to raid to power up that are going to be helping you out in raids themselves and or in the Open Master League. The strongest Pokemon, to say the least. Now, before we do get into this here, we are going to have a mythical because it is going to be free. That's going to be Melmetal, surprise. And these are going to be the Pokemon that I do personally have powered up. Okay, we're not going over the best of the best, but pretty much as we do have a lot of these strong Pokemon powered up. So with that said, if you do enjoy this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. This is by request, so if you could, that would be much appreciated. That's all I really ask in support, is to hit that like button. First off, we're going to start it off with Garchomp. We're going high CP until lower, so we're not looking at everything, just the powered up big boys here. Garchomp is going to get a Mega in the future, and it is going to be able to be a pure Dragon as well as Ground type while getting stabbed. It has a massive resistance to electric, so it'll be one of your best electric type attackers to go up against raids. The ironic thing is the limitation of raids, and yet we're still talking about Pokemon to go up against raids. So Garchomp is a solid pick. You can't go wrong. It does have a Community Day move of Earth Power, so if you're trying to get that, you will have to use an Elite TM until they do bring it back where you can evolve it. Next up, we do have Dragonite, a little easier to get, a little more accessible, as they are going to be easier to catch in the wild, those Dratini's. This does have a Community Day move, Draco Meteor, which you don't really need. It is going to be okay in raids, but this is a solid Pokemon for PvP in pretty much all leagues, including Master League, and also good in raids as well. So it does have Dragon Claw superpower on this one here. You can go into raids like that, or you can go with Outrage, probably a little bit more useful. And again, if you wanted to go with that Draco Community Day move, you could do that as well. I do have a couple, as well as 100 lying in wait, but not powered up. There's really no need. I got those legendaries all powered up if I needed to do that. I'm not making a full team of Dragonites over here. I just don't have those kind of spawns around me for those resources. Next up, arguably one of the best in Pokemon Go, and that is going to be Metagross. Beldums can be caught in the wild, or hatched, or raided. Highly doubt you want to raid them, right? So it is going to be a Community Day move, Meteor Mash, which you need, period. Okay. It is going to be one of the strongest in the game. Now, some of these do have shadow forms. You could go ahead and go with those as well. I'm not going to be showing all of them here because I don't have a lot of them XL'd up, okay? And they're going to cost a lot more resources. So Metagross is a solid pick. As a steel type attacker, you don't want to miss out on that. Next up, we do have Rhyperior as a rock and or a ground type attacker. Does have a Community Day move of Rock Wrecker, so if you're trying to get that, again, you're going to have to use a Community Day move. Smackdown for its quick move, and it does have a quick ground type move as well, so it can be used as a pure ground type attacker. And it is an amazing and a thick boy. Okay, it can take some hits. The only thing you need to look out for is water and grass, as those are going to be massively affected by 4 times because of your rock and ground type. But one of my favorite Pokemon. I love this design, and Rhyperior is solid for sure. Next up here, first mythical and only one, it is going to be Melmetal, because it is accessible and free to everyone, so long as you have Pokemon what was that, home and you transfer Pokemon over. Before it was the Switch, you had to do the whole Meltan box and put a Pokemon in the park, but you don't have to do that anymore. It does have Meteor Mash. If you were the ones who did purchase the ticket to actually get it to evolve into that, it does have that move, which is going to get stabbed from it. It's not crazy, but it is going to be doing something. Next up, Salamence. Probably want to go with the regular one, because it is going to be able to make it evolve. I just had a weird thing for my Shiny Shadow here that I powered it up, and I still haven't even... well, I maxed it out, actually. We're finally there. Horrible IVs, but you definitely want to probably go with regular Salamence, another solid dragon type attacker. Again, that is going to be able to Mega Evolve, and it becomes extremely strong there. Can't really use it as a flyer. It is going to be a flying and dragon type, so there is that, but doesn't really matter. It's still pretty good. Next up, Gyarados. Definitely a very easy Pokemon to get here. It does require 400 candies to evolve, but I mean, give me a break. They're all over the place. You should be able to get those in no time. It is going to have a Community Day move of Aqua Tail, so if you want that, mostly going to be used for PvP. If you wanted to use it for raids, Hydro Pump is going to be working just fine for you. And it is going to be a dual type of flying, and it doesn't have any flying moves, so there is nothing going on for it regarding that. It does have a Legacy Dragon Tail quick move if you do want to go with that. More than likely you want to use that for PvP. Otherwise, you can use it as a water type attacker with Waterfall, Hydro Pump, or Aqua Tail to go up against raids. And this is definitely a solid Pokemon here that can also Mega Evolve into probably, arguably, one of the cheapest out there. Next up, Conkeldurr. Not as accessible as the rest because you're going to have to hatch these out of eggs, but you're going to be able to still hatch them and you don't have to pay. Even if you have a free super incubator, you can eventually get the candies. I know it's going to be a grind, but I just wanted to put it on this list because it's kind of a flex for my Shundo over here. And it's just an XL Pokemon, so it's on the list, whatever. Definitely a good fighting type. Okay, that's it. It's a pure fighter. You can use this for raids mostly and in Master League if you're brave enough. Next up, Togekiss. We're getting a community day for this in the future, and you're going to start wanting to focus on these community days even probably harder than before, seeing that the accessibility to get legendaries is going to be that much harder, so we're going to need the hardest hitters around. And well, Togekiss fits the bill here. It is going to be learning Aura Sphere, which is kind of picking up some matches and losing some matches, so it's like, you know, good against Dialga, and it's not as good against Metagross, but Flamethrower is good against Metagross and not as good against Dialga, so you gotta pick your battle there. But Togekiss, definitely a solid option for you to go with if you're looking to up your Pokemon arsenal for sure. Next up, we do have Rhyperior, well, not Rhyperior, Space against Neymar, Rampardos. Okay, 100% IV here, not completely maxed out, but it is going to be pretty much the best rock type attacker aside from Mega Evolutions over here. We do have also Mega Aerodactyl that's going to be on point with it, but that's going to require you to Mega Evolve. And we're going to be taking a look at some more Megas here in a minute. But Rampardos is definitely a solid option if you were able to get enough to power them up. Definitely one of the hardest hitting rock types, but really can't take a hit, so you may have to dodge a move or two if you're not going up against a flyer. When it comes to normal types, specifically this Porygon here, I wouldn't recommend investing in it at all. It's just on the list because it's powered up. This is a spice pick for Master League. Simple as that. Maybe I can drop it in a gym for fun, but most of the time people attack with Machamp, so it's going down quick. So it's something you don't really need to power up on this list. Definitely going to be Porygon Z. Sorry, buddy, you're awesome, but normal types really got no place in Pokemon Go a lot of times. Now this one here is going to be one of the best that you can invest in, and that is going to be Excadrill, which can be a ground type attacker and a steel type attacker if you want it to be. It does have Metal Claw as well as Iron Head, but you very rarely use those, and if you're going to use a steel type, you might as well just go with Metagross. If you don't have those and you got Excadrills, then hey, you got yourself a steel type attacker. But when it comes down to a ground type attacker, this thing takes the cake. Very squishy, but it hits hard as heck, and it is very spammy. Holds its own up against Master League Pokemon legendaries, so definitely something you want to invest in. One of the smallest Pokemon, but definitely one of the hardest hitters out there, and I love this thing, right? It'd be cool if it got a Mega Evolution, but there is nothing like that for it in the future. Never got one. I feel like so many Pokemon need a new Mega Evolution. That'd be awesome, but for whatever reason, they just don't want to bring it back, and they keep on wanting to make the Pokemon bigger and bigger and bigger, until they're just going to be planets fighting each other. Okay, we got one of these on the list. I don't know why that's on here. Oh, because I didn't exclude Mythicals. Okay, so we'll just pretend we didn't see that. All right, moving it on here. We do have Primarina. So the way it goes for Community Day Pokemon, my saying is, if you get a 100 and it is actually useful as it is right now, then go ahead and power it up if you don't mind using an Elite TM later, because I certainly will when it does get Hydro Cannon. So it does have Hydro Pump and Moonblast. It is going to be a water and a fairy type, so you get staff from both of those, and you can also go with Waterfall to use it as a pure water type attacker. It's not going to be one of the best water type attackers or psychic type or fairy types, but it is okay. You also have Psychic to protect yourself from those poison types if you need it somewhere somehow, using Charm in PvP. So Primarina is a pretty good Pokemon. It can not take super effect from Steel. Now this is a normal type that you do want to invest in. Now more so for gym dropping and Master League, but Snorlax is definitely a solid investment, and I know we're looking at the Shadow here. You can go with a regular one. You don't need to think, oh, I have to go with Shadow. He has a Shadow too. It's not about that. I powered this one up because it had great IVs. If I didn't find a good Shadow, I would have powered up a regular Snorlax, probably my shiny one. That's a 98, and then I would have been happy with that. But Snorlax, Shadow, or regular is a solid pick, and my gosh, take a look at the moves that it has here. We got Heavy Slam, Hyper Beam, Earthquake, Outrage, and Skull Bash. I do believe all of these are non-legacy. That was pretty interesting looking at that Skull Bash there. Earthquake too, Hyper Beam, getting stabbed from that Heavy Slam could come in handy going up against those fairies like, I don't know, Zacian or Togekiss. But then again, you get stabbed from Body Slam, and it's pretty spammy. And then Superpower is just standard. Okay, now beware. It's on the list again because these are my powered up Pokemon. A lot of these are showcases. This one specifically was one. Now you can do stuff with this in Open Master League for sure. Beware here. But as far as attacking a gym, it's not really cutting it. Low kick is garbage. It needs like double kick or counter. I don't even know if it can learn those in the main series games. I didn't look. And then a better fighting type move would be great, but it does have a decent moveset for PvP. Not necessarily invest worthy for 50. Next one up, we do have Gardevoir. Absolutely worth your investment here. It has a Mega, and it is going to be hitting strong as heck with that charm when it does Mega Evolve. Has Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam for the moves that I personally do have. Takes forever to get to those charge moves, so you're left dead in the water for quite some time. So I think we're going to go ahead and Mega Evolve this. Might as well. We're going to do a couple here. I am behind. You know, you get that free Mega Evolution over time, so you might as well do it. I've been slacking big time on those, but it's not like I need to get them anywhere anytime soon because it doesn't look like I'm doing any sort of raids like crazy, like in Vegas. Kiss those times goodbye. Inviting people over and over, man, those were great times. It's funny that they waited after that. Hey, they better have. There would have been a massive outrage. So, Gardevoir, definitely worth your investment as a fairy type attacker. Let's find our place again, and now we do have this Shadow Charm Gardevoir here, which is also amazing. I made the investment first in this, but I was able to get enough candies to power up the other regular one, 100, and we're looking good. I mean, look at those IVs. Sneasler. This is a fun one. Unfortunately, it's not going to be too great for much. I mean, it can do stuff for sure in PvP, but it needs a poison charge move. If it had a poison charge move, you're looking at one of the best poison type attackers. And that's a project I'm working on, by the way. Yeah, you like that? Oh yeah, coming soon. I got you. It is going to be amazing. I love this design of this thing. So the fact that I got 100, I was starting to work on it right away. Next up, we do have Flareon. It's on the list because it's one of my favorites, and I just powered it up. This was literally, I think, my first 100% IV Pokemon. So as a pure fire type attacker, I guess I can do something. I wouldn't really make that investment though. Machamp, Shadow. This is one of the best, if not top 3, top 2 that you want as a non-legendary mythical Pokemon for raids and or PvP. It's great everywhere. It's great for raids, it's great for Great League, Ultra League, and Master League. And that's as simple as that. Machamp has just been the champion ever since it was released in this game. I mean, this thing is putting in the work all the time. And it's great. It's awesome to see one of these Gen 1 Pokemon just still being a solid pick. And look at these moves. If you're going to use an Elite TM, go with Stone Edge, okay? It does have a Community Day move of Payback. I know I've been forgetting to say those maybe, but yeah, we just used an Elite TM on it to test it out. I might put it back to Rock Slide, who knows. All right, and next up we do have Aggron here, another one that I just powered up because I have the candies and it's fun to do. Also has a Mega Evolution. No Community Day yet, but I do believe it'll get one in the future here. All right, so we're gonna actually switch up its moves. I didn't realize it had Meteor Beam. Well, I did, I just didn't switch it up. Haven't even Mega Evolved it yet, don't see a point. I'm not using the 200 candies yet until I really need it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what moves it does have. For the quick moves, Dragon Tail and Iron Head, or Iron Tail, which is great. Those are great moves. And Smackdown. Charge moves, Heavy Slam, and Stone Edge. But then if we take a look, we have Thunder, Rock Tomb, and Meteor Beam. And we're going to go ahead and use a TM here to get that Meteor Beam, just a regular one. And we're going to be looking good. I really don't use this too often, but whenever I do, I guess I'll have that move. When you Mega Evolve, it does drop its Rock typing, so you won't be getting stabbed from that. So that's great, but hey, at least we can still have that. But definitely a solid Pokemon, I guess, as a Steel type attacker, especially if you Mega Evolve it, you're going to be looking real good. Next up, a very, very, very good pick, as we all know here, is going to be Swampert. Okay, 100% IV, looking good. I still need to get this Best Buddy. You can use it as a pure Water type attacker or a pure Ground type attacker, and its Mega Evolution is just disgusting. One of the best in the game, so you definitely want to go for this. This is literally top tier Water type and Ground type attacker here. Okay, so yeah, make sure you invest in that one. We already all know. Next up is going to be Roserade. This is a hidden gem. This is a Swiss Army knife of a son of a gun Pokemon right here. It has 2 legacy moves right now, Bullet Seed and Weather Ball. Those are both Community Day moves that it learned on the same day. But you can also go with Poison Jab or Razor Leaf. All great moves. There is not a single bad move on this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charge move to see what it has going on here. So we'll probably go with that Dazzling Gleam. We got Solar Beam. It's all right. Sludge Bomb, Grass Knot, and Leaf Storm. You definitely want to go with Leaf Storm or Grass Knot, obviously, if you want to use a Grass, not Solar Beam, and then that Sludge Bomb for the Poison. So this can be used as a pure Grass or Poison type, and it is literally one of the best Poison type attackers. It's hard to get them out there because of the combination of moves that keep screwing up, or intentionally doing. But definitely vouch for this one here, and you can get those candies quite easily, so definitely want to make that investment, but it has to look out for those Titans in the Open Master League. Next up here is going to be I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you really want to invest in this one. This was solely for a showcase for PvP in the Open Master League. But as far as a grass type attacker, you could probably skip that one. Charizard, you definitely want to invest in this. Not only is it iconic, if you're one of the people that hates that, I'm sorry, but I love it. Charizard is just one of the best designs they've ever came up with here. It's got 2 Mega Evolutions, and its Community Day move is going to, of course, be Blast Burn, but it also does have Dragon Breath. So if you want to go with that, you can. You can use that as a stab move when you do evolve into one of its Mega Forms, so you do have that going on there for you, as it does pick up a Dragon type with its other Mega Evolution, while it maintains Fire and Flying for this one here. I mean, my gosh, look at this design. I mean, look at this. They really did this guy good. I used to use it in the main series games with that sun, and then I pulled out my Exeggutor that its speed rose up in the sun, and I would just sweep up with Solar Beam. People would be pissed. I IV trained my Exeggutor in speed, and its stats were increased in speed as well. So it was just crazy. Anyways, moving on here, we do have Gengar. All right, so this is also going to have a Community Day move of Sucker Punch, and that is solely for PvP. Okay, you don't need that for rating. So this is a 98, but that's okay. I still haven't best buddied it up. Named Hexus from that Ferngully movie. You know, that toxic guy in the machine. Gosh, that was one of the best villains. All right, let's go ahead and see what we have. Gengar is a very interesting thing. So we have Lick, Sucker Punch, and Hex. Lick is, I do believe, a legacy, so you can't just TM that. That was going to be during a raid day along the move Psychic. So that is also going to be a legacy. If you do have that, I have a couple in Shiny as well. We have Sludge Wave Legacy, Dark Pulse Legacy, Psychic Legacy, Focus Blast, Normal, Sludge Bomb, Normal. You can get those with the TM, Focus Blast and Sludge Bomb, but you probably just want to go with Sludge Bomb anyways, as opposed to Sludge Wave. If you have a Sludge Wave, hold on to it as a legacy. But Gengar's equipped, unfortunately not a pure Poison type attacker, but Shadow Claw's still putting in the work. Next up, we do have Blaziken, one of my favorites, period. Mega Evolution, great. Good as a Fire type attacker, good as a Fighting type attacker. It has a Mega Evolution, a Blast Burn Community Day move, and it even learned Blaze Kick for kind of a bait move in PvP. They don't use that in raids whatsoever, right? So you definitely want to go with this one here. Any Pokemon that learns Counter and has great attack and a Community Day move is going to be definitely looking great. It does have a Legacy Stone Edge if you like to go with that. Overheat, Brave Bird for a hard-hitting non-stab, unfortunately. But it's definitely a solid Pokemon. Okay, Blaziken, definitely want to invest in that. Now, we're going to, I was going to say Talonflame. Staraptor, I made the investment because it's a 100 and it's literally my favorite bird here. Unfortunately, you're going to probably want the Shadow to actually make some sort of an impactful amount of damage going in a raid here, but it does have decent moves. Wing Attack and Quick Attack, both of those did get a buff, plus Gust is also good, but it's left dead into the water with Brave Bird and Close Combat that are going to be debuffing it, so it's kind of like just Kamikaze Bird. And then it has Overheat, which is just garbage. You never want to use that. So it's really unfortunate. I mean, you could go with that so you don't have to debuff yourselves, but you always want to go with Close Combat and Brave Bird. But one of those steep investments where I would say you pass unless you just got Stardust to throw away, because there's other better investments. Now, Darumaka here, Dormanitan. I actually powered it up a couple of times just so it could be on this list here. I didn't have it XL because I wanted to have it included so you all can see, you know, at least some ice types here that are, aside from what we're going to see, definitely a good one to use for those Pokemon weak to ice. As far as rating or PvP, I mean, it's not good there. It's just it's way too squishy. It's got superpower, so there is that. Magnezone, another amazing Pokemon here, electric and steel type. It will get a Community Day in the future. I know I'm saying that with certainty because I know it will happen. So I powered this one up too a couple of times so it can be on the list. Has a massive resistance to electric, and it can be a great electric type attacker for you. Simple as that. Magnezone is great. It does have to look out for ground as it's going to be 4 times weak to that. And it also is going to be a decent steel type attacker, I guess, to some degree. I wouldn't really call it that, but it has steel type moves that are getting stabbed. Next up, Torterra. I powered this up because it was kind of a souvenir from when I went to Washington Worlds. Hatched it. It was a 100. I really wouldn't say make that investment in this grass type of attacker. It's not like, I'm not trying to dog on this Pokemon if you like it or anything, but it's just not worth your Stardust. There's other Pokemon that you can invest in. Stone Edge, Solar Beam, and Earthquake. Of course, it does have a Community Day move of Frenzy Plant. Moving it on to Sceptile, one of the best grass type attackers that you can invest in because of its Mega Evolution specifically here. All right, this is one of my favorites too. I know I keep saying that, but I love these things. Can you tell? They're all powered up. So we have Bullet Seed, Frenzy Plant, of course, Community Day move, and then Earthquake on it. And then it does have Fury Cutter for its other quick move, which can farm up very quickly. Another great move on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at its charge moves here. I'm going to go with that Earthquake. We have Leaf Blade, Aerial Ace, and Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is also going to be decent for it because when it does Mega Evolve, it does pick up a Dragon type and also maintains Grass as well. So you're looking like an Exeggutor-esque type here. And it will be getting stabbed from that, but yeah, there's going to be better dragons that you can use to go up against a dragon Pokemon because, well, dragon's only weak to dragon. But you do have it there if, I don't know, maybe you want to use it in PvP or something like that when they actually allow them back in without screwing it up and making it so we can pick 3 freaking Megas. Niantic and their shenanigans, they just can't get their ish together. It is bananas. You guys need some help over there, man. It's getting pretty bad. All right, moving it on here, we do have Walrein. Did do an experiment with this one here, but it can be used as a pure ice type attacker. Again, these are the options that you're going to have aside from the, legendaries, okay? And this is just what I have here. You could go with Blizzard, but Icicle Spear is going to make the cut. But if you're going up against raids, maybe, yeah, Blizzard. You just want to TM away Earthquake for now and then put that back later. I could be wrong, so go ahead and correct me if I'm not. You can use it as a pure water type attacker as well because it does have Waterfall as well as Water Pulse. Although Water Pulse is garbage and there's much better water type attackers, but if you so happen to have just this one powered up, then go ahead and use it. Next up, the best one on the list for me personally, because you already know I'm a Venusaur fan and this thing is great. Okay, we already know it's going to have a Community Day move for Frenzy Plant, Mega Evolves, and it is just a solid Pokemon all in all. I've used it in the Open Master League. I've gotten away with a few wins before, but it's definitely not where you want to use it. It's going to be the Ultra League and Great League, and then in the raids as well as its Mega Evolution. If you don't have Mega Candies, then you can just use it as Venusaur, I guess. Now, if you're thinking, but Poke, Mega Energy requires you to raid. Well, you can also get them from special research tasks, specific event tasks, Pokestops. So there is a way to get it, and you can also walk your buddies to get those Mega Energies. So no excuses. I'm not going to, completely, beat down Niantic. We got to go find some avenues over here, okay? Next up, we do have Lucario, which is going to get a Mega in the future. As far as a Community Day, I don't know. They might just have a day where you evolve it, and it's like, oh, well, you can get this move, or they might do the Melmetal treatment and make you buy the move, because that's the thing. You can use it as a pure Steel-type attacker. It does have Bullet Punch as well as Flash Cannon, but that's probably not what you're going to want to do. Use it as a pure fighter with that Aura Sphere encounter, then you're going to be looking good to go. And you could go with Close Combat too if you so choose to. Aura Sphere is not going to be any sort of special move. You can just TM it with a regular TM. Horrible IVs, I mean, not the worst, could be better, but it is a shiny, so I did make that investment. Not completely powered up, but this thing's going to be a beast when it gets its Mega. All right, now we're getting into the wishy-washies, and we're pretty much almost done here. We do have Obstagoon as a Dark-type attacker. Now, if you're thinking, what do you mean? How can we use this as a Dark-type attacker? Well, if you're going up against Psychic types, you got Lick. Not getting stabbed, but you got something that's super effective, right? Plus the nice slash spam. I mean, you got Hyper Beam and Gunk Shot. This is pretty much a PvP Pokemon. As you can see, these moves are just PvPs, right? Although it'd be fun to use it in a raid. I think I've done it before with Lick. Next up, a more suitable Dark-type attacker for raids is going to be Houndoom. And it does have a Mega Evolution. You're going to probably want to Mega Evolve it when you do go into the raids here. And it is going to be pretty good as well. You could use it as a Fire-type attacker as well. But there is so many other good Fire-type attackers. But if you do have this one powered up, it's not going to hurt you to use it. Fire Fang, Flamethrower, or Fire Blast will make the cut for you. This is one of the first things that this is one of the first Megas that they bring out. I really went hard on getting it to Best Buddy because I did have 100 here. So looking good for this Dark-type attacker, Houndoom. Moving it on. Like I said, we're starting to get into the gutter here. Not that they're gutter Pokemon, but they're lower combat powers. Got that Swampert Shadow, pretty good. You can't Mega Evolve it. I powered this up because of the tasks that were requiring me to power up the Pokemon to 50 to get to 50. So I had the candies at the time. Toxicroak, another fun investment. Now these are all XL Pokemon. Okay, so we'll just stop here because these are not going to be something you really want to use to go up against raids. So there you have it, folks. Pokemon that you probably want to invest in and or my collection so you can see what I have going on here that you can make the correct decision to power these up. If I did mix a couple, I probably did. This is just my collection that I'm going over here so you can see what I have invested for my arsenal of Pokemon. Now, remember this too. These are XLs. I have a lot of 40 Pokemon of these same types here. I'm not making that investment because that's way too much. To get one of these Pokemon to 50 without being Shadow is 500,000 Stardust. If it's Shadow, it's way more than that. It's like 700,000. So you gotta pick and choose your battles here. Making all these 50s is gonna get a little bit crazy, and I just simply do not have the time, money, resources, or energy to do all that. I mean, as much as I could if I lived in a big city and just had to go plus spinning stops all day catching Pokemon maybe. But nah, I'm in Alaska. Yeah, not happening. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you all next time.
Sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hey! So you're finally here! Fantastic!
Touch the net. This is the best.